Hello everybody. Today I am going to be showing you how to build a super smelter with the Minecraft Create mod that runs on lava, like the one that you see behind me. Oh. Now, this super smelter, it takes 1,536 stress units. It smelts 60 items per minute, or 3,600 items per hour, or also 56 and a quarter stacks per hour. That is stacks of 64. Each additional furnace cell adds 6 items per minute. A furnace cell is a 1x1 slice, which is fully tileable. You can add as many as you want, but I'm going to be building the 10 cell version for this tutorial. As I said previously, it runs on lava. This version is quite bougified, by the way. It does not need to be all brass and gold like this. I will be showing you how to build another version that is like this, but cheaper. So it's a little more feasible early game. Still maybe not, but I'll let you guys decide that. I don't really play Create mod and Survival that often. Right here, I'm going to put in a what you need list for me in the future. This is all you'll need. 55 shafts, 25 chutes, 24 mechanical belts, 21 brass tunnels, 14 andesite or brass funnels if you're bougie, 10 furnaces, blast furnaces or smokers, 5 vertical gearboxes, 5 encased chain drives, 4 gearboxes, a mechanical pump, a fluid pipe, cogwheel, a large cogwheel, rotation speed controller, a spout, and at least a 15 by 7 by 8 block space. Okay, that you should be back from that. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So, first of all, we're going to start with the collection system down there. You're going to want to place one block in. You're going to want to place a shaft, and then another shaft 2 blocks from the end, so the third block from the end, and then connect them with a mechanical belt. 1, 2, 3 blocks off, place a chute, or actually a temporary block. And you should have 10 of those, and it should reach perfectly to the end of this belt here. Now you can place chutes on top of all of those. And on top of the chutes, you can place a furnace that I had the whole time. Do not fact check me on that. I came prepared. Trust me, bro. Anyway, keep placing the furnaces on top of there. Now you have 2 options. You can either break all of these temporary blocks and be done with it, or you can put any funnel of your choice, or chutes on top, or on the bottom. That just makes an item, like a version where the items don't drop out. So if there's something that could interfere with that, you're going to want to put an extra chute, or a funnel, tunnel, something like that. Anyway, continuing on. You're going to want to put a shaft on the end of one furnace, place a temporary block, and then another shaft, break the temporary block, and then just run this oh, I caught it this time. This is take 2, by the way, because I screwed something up in the previous version. So, build on the level of these bottom chutes, place shafts that go all the way to the end, then place a temporary block at the end here, and then another shaft, and break your temporary block, and just extend that to the end as well. Then connect them all with mechanical belts, and after they're all connected, place down some funnels of your choice, which do become belt funnels. I just realized that pretty recently. Then, on top of all of these furnaces, you're going to want to put another row of chutes. And on top of there, throw on another row of shafts. You guessed that right. You're not particularly a genius, I'm sorry to say, but yeah. Place 2 blocks out, and then another shaft, 2 temporary blocks. And then build out this shaft as well to the end. Then you just connect these. And once they're all hooked up, you're going to want to place permanent blocks. You might want to make this blend in with whatever environment you're going to build this in, but place a permanent block just right on the end of all of these belts. This will prevent the items from just flying off unsmelted, completely unsmelted, and make a mess and lag and all the not fun stuff. If you want that, don't put these here and don't build this whole thing because it's just going to eject like, most of your stuff unsmelted. It's very useless. Just don't do that. Continuing on, place down a shaft here at the end like this, and a shaft here at the end like this. Mechanical belts. Place a shaft here. Oh, no. Don't want it to be the same as the one below. And then just connect those as well. Here's where it might start getting a little bit expensive. You're going to want to put brass tunnels. I'm not 100% sure if andesite tunnels will work as well. Although, yeah, for this one it won't. Because you're going to need to filter this. Then, up here, you're also going to need more brass funnels. I'm sorry. I know they're pretty expensive, I think. But, yeah. I don't play a lot of survival create, so yeah, I already said that. Place a permanent block here at the end of this conveyor, and a permanent block here at the end of this belt. These again just prevent the items from blasting off into oblivion and not doing anything useful in terms of our build here. At the very end here, you're going to want to place a rotation speed controller. Not like this, though. Don't let it connect. Place it like this. So just shift. You're really going to be difficult. Well, if necessary, I'll tip here. You can grab a single wrench. You don't need more wrenches. Grab a wrench. Right-click the end. It'll shorten it. You can place down your thing, and then just right-click with the mechanical belt to extend it again if you can. If you're a bum like me and you can't just make it work, then obviously a large cogwheel here. This is where you will input your rotational force. Okay, what the heck? So this can come from wherever. Again, it has to have at least 1,536 available stress units, otherwise it's just not going to work. Now for maximum efficiency, you're going to want to run it at 256 rotations per minute, which is also what I'm doing over at the display, so it'll be more accurate with all the data. And you're going to want to turn it clockwise, or the arrow spinning to the right on top. So you have that down. Place down a single shaft on the output here, and two shafts out from here, at the right here, and break this shaft. Then right-click the end of this tunnel belt twice to extend it, and use a belt to connect these two here. You'll then want a spout. You can get this spout. This is where the lava is going to come from, so you can place any temporary block you want, and then place down the spout. While we're at it, you can get a lava bucket, and place it right in the filter slot there, so it won't let any normal buckets through. Another thing to do right now is place a brass tunnel right here. You only need one here. You can put them here, although that's completely optional. But right here, you're going to need a brass tunnel. And set the filter to a empty, just plain old empty bucket. Now the last thing we're going to want to do before we start, the fun wiring everything together, making sure it spins right. Oh, so fun. we're going to need to make the input system. So the items can actually get from your storage to up here. Now you could do this by any means you want, but I am going to do the fan and shoot method, which I believe to be the most compact. I will show an alternative way if you really don't want to use item drains, because they might be expensive. Again, I don't know. Yeah, they're really not that expensive. You might just want to make these. I will still show the alternative if you are opposed to it for whatever reason. Now, assuming that this here is your storage system, which for the sake of this demonstration it is, yeah, you're going to want to place 2 item drains, like so, a temporary block here, and an encased fan right there. Then you're going to want to place a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5 chutes. This is optional, but I think it looks nice to just right-click each of these chutes with a wrench to make them see-through. You can also do this with all these, which I will be doing for aesthetic purposes. Now that that unnecessary addition is done, you can go back to the actual thing that matters. Get a belt, right-click twice on the end, right here. A permanent block at the top of the chute. Why isn't this on? A permanent block at the top of the chute so items, again, don't just fly out and do whatever items do. You can place another brass funnel here. Right-click a brass funnel there, and then shift right-click a brass funnel there so it goes in. And then you give yourself a pat on the back because you have no friends who can give you a pat on the back, and your family doesn't love you, and you're not loved, and then you give yourself a pat on the back because you're done. And now it's time for wiring. Okay, it is time for everybody's favorite part, connecting it. If you couldn't already tell, I'm not a huge fan of connections. Such a pain. Anyway, you want to place 1 vertical gearbox right here. You also just place a gearbox and rotate it. Now the reason you want this to be a vertical gearbox is for 2 reasons. 1, so it flips this without interfering with that, and also you need another one. A second vertical gearbox here, and a third one up here. Then just use a shaft to connect those 2. You can place a fluid pipe right here, and then a pump there. It's, for some reason, always likes to go the opposite direction. You can just use a wrench to flip that around. Connect a cogwheel right there, and a shaft right here. Now you can just input all the lava you could possibly want right here, and it should work pretty perfectly if you built it right. And if you didn't, shame on you. Next thing you're going to want to do, down here, is realize that you did not, in fact, need a permanent block there. But you do need at least 1 andesite casing. You're going to want to place a gearbox right here. 1 shaft, which, wait, how are you going to do this? All the items are just going to fly off, which is exactly what you don't want. Oh, that's why you encase this, so the items can't fly out. And you get 2 encased chain drives. Place them here and here. And this all should be spinning the right direction so far. Which, lucky me, it is. Actually, I should give myself more credit. Not lucky me. Well planned me. Yeah. For sure. And the next thing which you're going to want to do back here is place a chain drive here. Another chain drive here. I don't think anybody's going to guess this. I'll give you a moment. Yeah, you put another chain drive here. Then you get a gearbox, which, if you played your cards correctly, should be rotating like so. So this belt is already going right in there. Then, what you can do is get a gearbox, a vertical gearbox, connect them right up, and, oh, fans move upward. This was pure luck, by the way. I can't believe I got... It's just like this thing's spraying air up. this thing's going that way. It just works out so well. Now, the last thing you're going to want to get moving is, of course, the item delivery belt. This thing's not going to work without it. What you're going to want to do is place one shaft right here, and another shaft right there. So, I want a gearbox right here, and another gearbox right here, but this one has to be a vertical gearbox, again, so it doesn't interfere with this shaft there. If you did everything perfectly, like you should, because this is such a perfect tutorial, it's not, but yeah, everything should be spinning the right direction. This should be going that way, that should be going that way, this one should be going this way, this one should be going the opposite direction, and that should be feeding right here, which, by the way, this is where you're going to want to place your final products. This is where your final product just pops right on out. Let me shorten this. Whoops. Wait, what? Huh. Weird. Anyway, I do believe that is completely it for the build. Yeah. So now give yourself a pat on the back because you have no friends and your family doesn't love you and you don't know what you're doing with your life. And you need to get new friends and you need to get a new family and you don't know what you're... After having a midlife crisis or early life crisis or late life crisis or however old, after having a crisis, at some point in your life crisis, you can start thinking about the technical parts of this and how to actually set it up. So, of course, you're going to want your lava. What? Really? Of course, this is where you're going to input your lava. You can put it right here. Just, this is what I'm doing, because screw it. I mean, creative. I'm going to do this just for demonstrative purposes. I don't know. Demonstrative purpose. Is that a word? Demonstrative? Anyway. Now you got lava right here. Now this is optional. This is fully optional. But I've found it helps. Just ironing out the kinks and all that. First of all, well, you're going to want to grab an andesite funnel and put it there so your items can actually get into the item vault. You can also make it brass if you're bougie, but doesn't matter. What you can do is you can get a list filter right here. Grab yourself a bucket. Open the list filter. Put the bucket in, or, you know, if you're a normal person, you can just have JEI or REI and just look up bucket. And then grab the bucket and put it there, right? And you're going to hit deny list. Hit check, and throw it in this filter here. So now, on top of it supposedly filtering out all buckets this way, it'll also deny buckets this way, so it'll only be able to go this way. It's just an extra layer of protection. It's not particularly necessary, but I've found that it helps. Now, quite unfortunately, if anybody in the comments actually has a fix to this, that would be greatly appreciated. Please put that down there. I will pin it so everybody can see it. So check the comments to see if somebody's found a fix for this. But due to the unfair prioritization of the first output when splitting items in a brass tunnel, like, you'll have a couple buckets stacked up here, and then you'll have none over here, and then you'll have some raw stuff over here that hasn't been cooked yet, and this is getting too much fuel, and then it's out of stuff to smelt. This is getting too much stuff to smelt and not enough fuel. So the only fix I have so far come up with it is you need 4 times as many buckets as you have furnaces. That is because each of these can hold 3 buckets each, and then a bucket, of course, inside each furnace. But all you really want to do is just grab your buckets, and you can throw them straight here. And as you can hear, are already starting to just pump some fuel into there. As you can see, I have this set to split. Right there, I have it split. Yeah, I have it set to split. It still prioritizes these outputs. lag spike. There you go. But if you have 4 times as many buckets as you have furnaces, in this case, 10 furnaces, 40 buckets, or can you like, thank you. What the? Sorry for the bit of lag, everybody. It's not ideal. But yeah, after that, you should be pretty much done with this whole thing. It's so beautiful. Take a moment to look at it and say, wow, look at this very original structure that I built that I didn't watch a tutorial to build. Wonderful. Just to demonstrate, let's grab iron. Just like about a lot. Let's just get a lot of iron. And in item hatch. Throw that there, and then you can see it work. All the items flow into here. They get pushed up, down into this system. They get immediately sucked up here. Oh, there is a backup here, unfortunately, which is because this hasn't started. This isn't finished. You're gonna probably wanna fill this whole place up before you do anything. Hold on. Did I screw something up? Oh, wait, I grabbed 80 buckets. Hold on. Yeah, there's my issue. Yeah. Now it works perfectly. You can see all the items just absolutely flowing in. This thing's really satisfying to watch, at least for me, because every time you would be smelting one item, you just get a flow of items. Just in the time, I've already almost smelted a stack. It looks like it's been exactly a minute, according to my chart over there. But, yeah, look, just in the time that it took for me to explain stuff and fix stuff after I put in there, already over a stack of stuff has finished smelting. 80 items. Now, here are some important things to note. This whole contraption, just nothing auxiliary, like this power, of course, or where you get your lava. Just the necessary stuff is going to be 15 by 7 by 8, actually. I lied. This has to be taller. It is a 15 long, 7 wide, and 8 tall structure. Beautiful. Beautiful, as you can tell. I'm gonna stop glazing my own structure now. But it, yeah, as previously stated, it's got all those stats over there. I like naming my, I like giving names to my contraptions. So this is a Super Smelter model L10CAS, Lava 10-cell automatic smelter. Of course, that 10 would be like 11 or 12, depending on how many cells you have. It could be even a 5. I built a 5-cell version once. Not worth it. It's too slow. I'd recommend probably 10 or more. Otherwise, what's the point? But yeah, some other things to note. All of these furnaces could be easily replaced with a, for example, why am I blanking? There's literally two, a smoker or a blast furnace. There was literally only 2. How am I this dumb? But yeah, if you have like 3 of these things, one with furnaces for general items, one with blast furnaces for like ores and whatnot, and then like one with smokers for food, and you have one central storage, then I guess you could really just use one brass tunnel. Have it be like inputting its items. I guess I can't place it down. But you can have it input items in one way. You could use an attribute filter, I think, to shoot them off where they need to go. But yeah, I think that covers it pretty fully. I really hope this helped. I would say I worked very hard on this design, but it kind of just came to me, because I'm a genius, and like I'm just so smart, and I'm just so genius, and I'm so smart, and like things. But I hope this video helped. Hopefully this smelter design can help you in your worlds. And yeah, now I was informed from my sneak peek video that There's a much more efficient way to make a super smelter with lava and an encased fan, or fire and an encased fan. Yeah, there is. I don't know how I never thought of that. I will be designing another super smelter that takes no fuel and just some rotational power stress units, right? So, yeah, you can stay tuned for that video. But I want to come in with some options that you have for actually building this thing. First of all, if you are, for whatever reason, resistant to using item drains here, you can get rid of these. Get yourself 4 shafts and 2 mechanical belts. You can put this like that, and then put down 2 shafts here and another belt there. You could do it this way. Not exactly sure why you would, but you can. If you don't want to use the item drain method. Also, another thing I should point out, these don't have to be brass funnels. They can be andesite funnels. I don't know why I used brass ones, but yeah, they can be andesite. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Other than that, as I said previously, you can add more chutes on the bottom if you want no items to fall down and then hit the belt. They'll just go straight to the belt. If you have something from other mods that might, like, grab the items, you don't want that, then you can do that. You can also place any tunnel of your choice under here. It'll work with andesite and brass funnels. But again, this one needs to stay brass because you need to filter off all the buckets and prevent the buckets from going here, although again, that's also optional. Now, of course, I want to take a moment at the end of this video to say thank you so much to everybody in the comments who's leaving just great, amazing comments. Thank you so much. Also, people who are leaving informative comments, like just use fans and lava. Yeah, that's a better idea, but in my defense, this thing looks cool. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and I hope this is helpful for you. Goodbye.